this is John Anderson. You're listening to Mystery Tour here in Italy.
First of all, I have to give you greetings from Rick Wakeman, with whom I conducted an interview recently.
Mr. Rick Wakeman.
We talked about the Living Tree album as well.
Yeah, I love that album. I actually recorded that album when I was touring my solo show. Rick would send me songs, and I had a little recording studio on my laptop, and so I would, just sing the songs and send them back to him, and they always sounded okay.
How are you living these days of sanitary emergency on the West Coast?
I'm really loving it. Me and my wife, we love each other so much, and we have such a great time together. So we're always together. Whenever we go on tour around the world or when we're home, we're together. So now we've been together 4 months, and at the beginning when we were told to go into quarantine, I was making a barbecue, and I slipped on the steps, and I broke my foot.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going anywhere anyway.
Talking about your last album, 1,000 Hands, Chapter 1, I noticed that the selection of special guests you invited is unbelievable. Which has been your criteria for the selection of these amazing guests?
Well, it's just one of those things that happen in life, I was recording songs with a friend of mine who was in my first band. We were in Los Angeles. I was up in the mountains of Big Bear near Los Angeles. And Brian Chaplin was this friend of mine who worked with my first band in the 60s. And so we'd written 5 or 6 really good songs. And then I went on tour with Kitaro, and my friend Brian went on tour with B.B. King. So we didn't see each other for 3 months or 4 months, and that lasted a long time because we forgot about finishing the album for 28 years.
Yeah.
But life happens,
Yeah.
And then this producer called me 2 years ago and said, John, have you still got the tapes from Big Bear up in the mountains? And I said, yeah, I still got them. I haven't listened to them because I don't have a 24 track. And so he said, send them to me and I will put them onto the computer. And the way to do that, you have to put the tapes in the oven to bake them so that you can just play once because of the tapes will fall apart anyway. So I just played once, went straight to computer, and it sounded absolutely wonderful. So that's how we started. And I told Michael, the producer, and I said, I love Billy Cobham. He's one of the great drummers of all time. My friend Jean Ponty, he said to me, I know Chick Corea will get him to play on it, and so on. So it just developed that way.
It was like a long period of production that it took to create the whole thing.
Well, initially, it just took 3 months in the mountains of Big Bear, LA. And then when I got the tapes and put them into the computer in Orlando, where the studio is with Michael Franklin, he's the producer, we started 2 years ago, and we finished it last Christmas, and then we didn't put it out this last year because we just couldn't find a record company who was interested, So I went on tour last year around America with a band of musicians, exactly the way I want to have a band, which is like an ensemble. So you have 2 keyboard players, a violin player, saxophone, flute player, percussionist, drummer, bass player, guitar player. And we had the best time, and the audiences were fantastic, but we never put the record out. So now the record's coming out. We might tour again next year after the virus has gone away.
What can you tell us about the beautiful artwork of the album?
My friend Jay, he lives in Boston, and he's now done 6 albums of mine, the artwork, and he just came to a show that I did with my solo show, and I said, as we were talking after the show, I said, what are you doing? He said, I do artwork for all different kinds of art. I said, have you done any artwork for an album? He said, no. So I said, okay, I'm doing this album for survival. And so he did that. And then every album since he just loves to help me,
Can you already tell us something, if it's possible, about the chapter 2?
Well, we worked on about, I think we have five songs already. We're not going to start doing anything until probably early next year, and hopefully see if this album, 1,000 Hands, reaches a lot of people, and then we know that they will be ready for chapter 2. We'll probably get it finished next year. When it comes out, I don't know, because I'll go out next spring to promote the album now, the 1,000 Hands, and then I hope it doesn't take another 30 years. That'd be terrible.
Which are your memories of the recent tours you did with the Anderson, Reben, Wakeman ensemble?
Yeah, we had a great time. You know, these two guys, and we had a great band. Very, classic Yes music. And then, obviously, from the 80s, all of the Lonely Heart, and songs from that period, and songs that I did with Rick. And, of course, we actually performed Awaken with some extra music from Trevor Rabin.
Yeah.
And, as a band, the video of the show now out there, ARW, and it's a great band, and we had a great time. And, life happens, and, Trevor's now doing film scores again, and Rick's doing his solo show, and I'm getting on with the history of my music is so many projects over the last 20 years since the beginning of computer, when I could ask people to send me music from around the world. So I'm working with about a dozen people around the world on so many different projects now. So my life is full of ideas for the future, and to me, in my head, I'm thinking the best work is coming,
Yeah. Let's hope we get rid of this virus also for the live activity as well.
I agree. And I have a video sent to me, and it's very simple that we are not taking care of Mother Earth. So deforestation is happening all over the world, and animals have to get away from the fires and the destruction of the forest. So animals insects are coming together where they shouldn't be together.
Yeah.
And that's creating disease within them. And I heard that bats were part of bringing that virus into China, and they've been totally into destroying Mother Earth in the wrong way. So we got to change our thinking collectively. And for the first time, we are collectively connected around the world with everybody in the world through the internet, which is kind of amazing.
After all these years, how do you see Yes with and without you in the lineup?
Well, I'm never. I always think I'm Yes. I don't know why. I think everything I do is Yes.
Yeah.
Steve Howe thinks the same way, and he has his band. And that's okay. They're singing my songs, and it's life. Life is full of changes, different experiences, and as long as people like to play Yes music, there's a band in New Jersey who can sound just like Yes did in 1972.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. They sent me a video of them playing Fragile. And it sounds exactly like the record. It's unbelievable. So there'll always be Yes music.
Which are your memories of Italy as a musician?
Well, I was writing this the other day. I have so many. I would always go to Rome or Italy, Rome or Milan, because there was nowhere else we would play. And it was only when I found my beautiful wife, Jane, and she went to school in Firenze. So she said, for her honeymoon, we're going to Firenze and Cinque Terre and go around and Siena. We're going to see Italy. I had the most wonderful, I wanted to live in Italy for sure. So we've been going for years to Italy just for holidays. But I remember one time I was on tour with, I think it was ABWH, and the show before the Italian show, I think the first in Italy was Milan. I hope I'm remembering correct. And I couldn't sing because I'd been swimming the day before with all the what's it called? What they put in the swimming bath, the chlorine. And I woke up in the morning and I could hardly speak, and I was so upset because we had 7,000 people waiting to hear me sing, us to perform. And of course, I got on stage and I pointed to my throat and said, "I'm sorry, my voice is really bad." And they started singing every song, and I was crying. I was so emotional. They sang the whole show for me, and I'm more than ever grateful for every one of those people. And that's probably, I don't know, 30 years, 32 years ago.
Yeah.
But those people have grown up, of course, but I'm so forever grateful that all the people at the front, they would sing all the songs for me. Incredible.
It was like a big communion.
Yeah, I've never got over that. It's imprinted on my soul. They would sing for me, knowing I had lost my voice, and very magical time. And I appreciate every fan in Italy and around the world, of course. But very much that moment in Italy was an amazing moment for me.
Which final message and greeting would you send out to the Italian fans?
The most important thing is we're living in a time of change, and change we must, because we cannot continue living the same cycle of life, which is not connecting us all together as friends. We've got to learn to love each other, respect each other. We are, and the strangest thing to say, but we are all indigenous people, and people who are in the parliament, and the president's here, president there, think they're so high and mighty. No, they're not. They've been created by the people, and they should serve the people on their knees. And they should be more intelligent and more spiritual, because the only reason we live is to find the divine within us. That's the only reason. You can do this, you can do that, you can do this, you can do that, but the only reason we live is to find the spiritual divine within us and live a beautiful life. We are very, very fortunate to have this life experience. And think about your children and your grandchildren. I have grandchildren now, and I want them to live in a better world. I want them to live in a more beautiful world.
Let's not waste this fortune.
No. Always good. I have a great feeling about the coming time, and it's going to get better and better now. We've been through hell for the last 4 months.